Hello and welcome to another edition of the Wright Experience. I'm Dr. William T. Wright Jr., the founder and host of this show. We are now moving right along. Episode number 94 of the Wright Experience is tonight, and we've got a special edition tonight, later time than normal. But we are thankful to those of you that are hanging in here with us and taking time to view our show tonight. My guest tonight is a North Carolina native who is now serving as an educational leader in the state of Michigan. My guest tonight is Superintendent Rodriguez Brodnax. Superintendent Broadnax is currently the interim superintendent for Muskegon Heights Public School Academy System, located in Muskegon Heights, Michigan. Prior to that appointment, Broadnax served as a superintendent for Clintondale Community Schools located just outside of Detroit, Michigan. While in Michigan, Superintendent Broadnax has had the distinct honor of being elected as vice president / president-elect for the Michigan Association of African American Superintendents. Prior to that assignment, Superintendent Broadnax was appointed to the Mississippi State Board of Education and governor as a state transformation interim superintendent. He was recruited to turn around one of the most underperforming schools in the nation, which he was able to do before relocating to the state of Michigan. Additionally, Superintendent Broadnax has had career stops in South Dakota, Nevada, and Indianapolis, Indiana, where he turned around both school districts and the middle school. Superintendent Broadnax is a native of North Carolina, where he held positions with Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools early in his career. Superintendent Broadnax has a proven track record in school turnaround and exhibits great character, integrity, teamwork, and ethics. Superintendent Broadnax has the reputation of being a hands-on and visible leader within schools and the community. And finally, Superintendent Broadnax has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Administration, a Master of Education degree in Education Management, both from Strayer University, and an Educational Specialist degree from Indiana State University in Terre Haute, Indiana. Broadnax is married to Juanita Brodnax. They have 5 children: Jania, Delisha, Miracle, Elijah, and Ezekiel. I think I got them all. I hope I got them all right. And at this time, I'd like to welcome to the Wright Experience, Mr. Rod Brodnax. Welcome to the Wright Experience, my friend.
Thank you, Dr.
Did I
Wright.
get the children's names right?
Yeah, look, all but the oldest, Janaya.
Janaya. All right.
Yes,
I'll make sure I got it right, bro. I don't like messing children's names up. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. So welcome to the show. I want you to start off, if you will, talking to us about your current assignment and wonderful things that are going on in your district, and then we'll talk about leadership and some other things.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Wright. It's an honor and a privilege to be on the Wright Experience with you tonight. I appreciate you allowing us to share tonight, Currently the interim superintendent of the Muskegon Heights School District in Muskegon Heights, Michigan, where this is my first month on the new job. So it's a lot of learning, hands-on experiences. We have 2 boards and navigating those while trying to develop some new curriculum, some CTE curriculum, and just putting the district back together to put us on the right road.
So you have 2 school boards. Talk about that. I don't think I've heard of that one before.
It's really one of the only models in the, not just in the state of Michigan, but in the country, where we have a elected board of education,
okay,
and a public school academy board, which runs the day-to-day operations of the school district, which I report to that. And those boards work together in tandem to lead the school district. It's a very fascinating situation we have going on here in Muskegon Heights.
Okay. All right. Very good. That's a new one, and learn something new every day. So what are some of the things that you have discovered that are similar, I guess, to your past experiences, and then some of the things that are unique about the current role?
Some of the similar experiences like we all experience is teacher retention and recruitment and trying to get teachers in the right places and recruiting teachers. Secondly, I'm sure if you are in a suburban district or urban district, attendance is another issue
Sure.
based on the demographics of the district and the social economic infrastructure in the school district. Attendance is a issue at our schools, but we're working to develop campaigns around attendance. And of course, the overall piece is to improve student outcomes with our student achievement. So, and those are similar in all of the states I've worked and led. I told my wife, being a turnaround guy sometimes is tough because sometimes you get beat up, even though that's what you go in to do. But I like what I do, love what I do, love kids, love staff. I've learned is that in my career working across the country, people will be people and students will be students.
Right. So what are you mentioned the word turnaround? I was going to go there in a while, but we'll go there now. What are some of the things that you think are critical to a good turnaround specialist? What are you looking for? What do you seek to accomplish when you have those turnaround jobs?
There are three things you really want to focus on, and that's a
Okay.
collaboration, growth, organization, and maybe four, accountability. That model of accountability, growth, organization, that's a huge piece to the turnaround model. I've used that accountability piece a little bit stronger than maybe the organization and growth piece, but they work in tandem and developing initiatives around those three pieces and making sure that you walk the walk you say you're going to hold everybody accountable for the work. You hold yourself accountable and take ownership for the ups, the downs. You know how we do the falls. Yeah. And I always tell them we all rise together, we shine together, we fall together. So so I think that's a good piece of that turnaround. Those three, along with a strong strategic plan, putting a strong strategic plan together and making sure you are following that strategic plan with fidelity.
Do you believe that you get better at that with experience, or is it different with each challenge?
You get better with experience. However, it's different because each school district has their unique challenges and unique opportunities to do different things. I always start that strategic plan experience with the SWOT analysis, which is the strengths, weaknesses, and threats. And it's interesting in every district what you will find out and what those strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. And so that's a big piece of the turnaround, making sure that data is in place for you to begin that process in the turnaround process.
Exactly. So if you are in a position, and I know you are all the time, where you are coaching, mentoring, leading a brand new person in education who aspires to be a superintendent, what would you tell them?
Well, it's funny. I have developed what I call academy, and I lead that academy with our teacher leaders and our central office administrators. And I show them and model for them, not just in those meetings and in those sessions, but every day, even in our administrative meetings. I would say those of you that are aspiring or superintendent, whatever you're trying to do, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Make sure you're doing it for kids. We are here for kids, and you impact the lives of kids, but you also impact the lives of educators every single day. I love my job because we educate kids, but we affect the lives and careers of those educators around us. One of the best feelings in the world is when I promote a principal an assistant principal or a principal to the central office position or to a principal position, because now you have affected more kids, affecting the life of an educator. So I would say, and I tell people, to be successful in this seat as superintendent, central office, or even the principal role, is you got to be likable. You got to be likable. You got to be approachable, but you got to be likable. That means everybody's not going to like you, but you got to be likable for at least 90% of who you're serving.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so when you are selecting those people to make those promotions to, other than likability, what else are you looking for? What are some
I'm
of the
looking
categories?
for what have you done for student outcomes? That's the first thing. Are you here for students? What does the data look like in your schools? Are you the right fit? Because it's all about can you do the work? Are you hands-on instead of office? Because the true magic goes on in the schools and not in what I call the White House, which is the central office. So I always tell them, I think the White House is on Pennsylvania Avenue, and I always tell them, whatever school district I'm in, the central office is on Pennsylvania Avenue, but the work is not in Pennsylvania, into the country or in the schools.
That's right.
That's where the magic happens, and you got to have that passion, that desire, that energy to want to succeed for kids. And I always tell people, when we sit in DC, got to spend some time there. Now, I'm in the schools a lot, but when I'm able to sit down at my computer and answer emails and do the paperwork and all that, it's normally 4:35, 6 o'clock in the evening.
If we're lucky. Right?
If we're lucky.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And so you mentioned a couple of things there, having that passion and that drive and so forth and so on. And as you said, there is no greater feeling than to have someone that you can feel confident about promoting and watch them do well. Absolutely.
Yes.
So let's talk about the future of education. Where do you see education going in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's already there. It's already going there with COVID. COVID has really taught us a thing or two about education. And when COVID came in, and with this economy for a while, so I equated the education field to the economy. The education took a huge hit when COVID came in. We've gone to what we have a lot of virtual campuses now, virtual academies. I think we're going more to that. But one of the biggest things is equity, diversity, and inclusion. It showed us that we have to be equitable. We have to include everybody, and we have to and have that into our schools, and making sure that all of our students have that equitable opportunity to be successful. And equity, let me tell you, is not equity. Is not equity. Is about making sure that the students have specific things they need to be successful. I think as we move forward in education, that we look at the equity, inclusion, and diversity piece. We look at our budgets and finances and the funding models. What's that going to look like in the future as it relates to education? How many resources can be provided on the state and federal level? We also look at the teaching shortage. How can we get our young people interested in teaching? How can we pull some of the folks that are in other careers over to teach? Because again, a lot of folks left education when COVID came in. So we're looking also at the new digital age of education. A lot of districts now have gone away from textbooks in the curriculum, and doing a lot more online. We've every student in the country has a device now. We've gone one-to-one, and we use those devices in the classrooms for instruction instead of just flipping a book. We're asking students to do more project-based instruction and understand the standards of putting those standards through more of a digital curriculum, if you would.
Now, I'm certain in the state of Michigan, you don't have a teacher shortage, right? You got every classroom filled.
Yeah, I wish I could tell. No, we have a major shortage here too, and for school administrators.
So how do we get that back going in the right direction? What do we do? What do we do?
Well, of course, that's $1 million question for all of us. I think we have to take a hard look at education as a country, as a whole.
Yeah.
Where do we want education to go if we're going to keep up with other countries and stay at the top? What we need to look at, what strategies can we put to country to entice teachers or our young people to go into education and love to do it, and not just do it because they couldn't do anything else. We want very good educators. I think it's going to take very talented educators to take this next generation on to the next level.
Amen.
Yeah, it's going to take some very talented educators, innovative educators, to be able to take this generation that we currently have, that kindergarten through 3rd grade or 5th grade, it's going to take some innovative instructional practices with some great leaders and classroom teachers to take us to the next level. But we have to look at it as an entire country and what's best for education at this time.
Yeah, and we got to figure out right now, if we go into our high schools, Mr. Brodnax, I don't think that we're going to find many people that are just going to sign up for education.
That's right.
So we got to understand why that is.
Right.
Why is it that folks aren't knocking down the door to be educators? When I was in school, I'm older than you are. But when I was in school, we had folks that would proudly tell you, "I want to be a teacher. I want to go into education." Yeah. We don't hear that now, and so somehow or another, we've got to make education attractive again. And part of it's pay. I mean, there's no question about that. But we got to figure out what else there is that are keeping people away. And some of it's the climate in which they work. We understand that.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about this whole area around administrative, because you brought it up, administrative leaders and kind of the holes in the pipeline. And you didn't say that, but I'm going to use that terminology. What do we do about that? How do we continue to get leaders to stay in our profession?
I think one of the things we have to do as school districts and superintendents and executive leaders, we need to grow our own leaders within.
Okay, right. You mentioned that earlier.
And have a balance of those from inside and outside, be able to recruit leaders. I think that the best teachers make the best leaders. I think those master teachers and coaches. Let me just say coaches, because kids listen to coaches. Now coaches are lazy. Now I coach. Now coaches, y'all watching, I'm not saying you're lazy, but I'm just saying I've coached basketball and football and those type things, and kids respond very good to coaches. They know how to coach teachers. They know how to coach kids. And so I think that we want to, again, grow our own and have a balance from the outside and be able to attract those leaders to be able to handle the day-to-day operations of the school district or a school I always say we're facilitating, we're managing the day-to-day operations, but we're facilitating the instruction of the school district. Being able to be able to do that while we are making 100 decisions per day, and having to reflect on those decisions each at the end of each day, and having educators and leaders that want to see, not just for the money, because there is good money if you get to the right place as an educational leader. I always tell people they're surprised when they find out how much principals make or superintendents make. Well, they're the management of the school district.
That's right.
Central office. At long enough, you will make the money, but again, you got to care about kids. You got to care about kids, student focused, student centered. Those are the leaders we need, that don't get caught up in the drama or what I said today, the clicks. Because you got to treat everybody fair. My grandma raised me to treat others the way I want to be treated. Again, and that goes back to being approachable, collaborative, transparent, and inclusive. Those four things. We need leaders today that won't just jump out when it gets hard. Now, I know it's hard for superintendents, because the life of superintendent, now I'm not scaring you, young people, but 3 to 5 years sometimes. And if you're lucky, you can go 5 to 10 years. But
right.
we need those leaders to step up, because again, the pipeline for leaders is at an all-time low as well.
Yeah, and that's the reality. Average was 3 years for a superintendency before COVID. So
yes,
be interesting to see those new statistics when they come out for sure. But it's about preparation and doing a good job and doing what's right for kids. And those salaries are earned now, brother.
They are. Yeah. So let me just say that. Yeah, we earn those salaries every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single day.
Yeah, but we certainly thank you for that insight. So my last question for you, if you had the opportunity to do it over again, start from the beginning, what would you tell a younger Rod Broadnax?
Well, see, I didn't plan to sit in this seat that I'm sitting in now. I never planned to be a superintendent.
Me either.
Never planned. I thought, being a high school principal, that'd be enough. That'd be enough. But it just happened. And sometimes it just happens. So I'll tell the younger administrators, be strong, be fair, be consistent, walk with integrity. I would. There's some decisions I made, and that all of us can say that we've made some decisions that we wish we wouldn't have. But I love what I do, and you got to love what you do if you're going to do this work. Because it will. I take 3. I don't mind telling you, I take 3 blood pressure pills a day, and normally I'll take one before a board meeting. That one I take in the evening, I take before board meeting. But the ride, if you let it come to you, learn all you can all you get, and love kids, decision that you can, that's in the best interest of students. Make sure you love that community, and say what you mean. If you're gonna walk the walk, and you're gonna talk the talk, you walk the walk. Good leaders follow through with what they say. A lot of times we get in trouble, don't follow through with what we say. So people are watching us, and I'm gonna tell young people are watching your community, your school boards, your teachers, your students, your parents. They are watching every single thing you do, because you're the leader of the district.
That's right.
People. So goes the leader, so goes the district.
Very important perspective. Yeah, you gotta. We are in a fishbowl for sure, aren't we?
Yes.
Thank you for that insight, Mr. Broadnax, anything else that you'd like to share with our audience that I might have failed to ask you?
Well, I don't think you. I think you asked everything, but again, education is changing, and I just ask that the audience, those that are watching, be patient with your leaders, with the teachers. I ask you be school board members and the educators, the leaders in the school district, because we are certainly now in a different time. And I think that leadership and education, everybody's adjusting and moving with our new educational trends, so we can make sure our students are successful in what has been one of the most challenging, unprecedented times in modern history and education. So I just ask that folks would be very patient with us as leaders, your child's principals, again, teachers, work with us and be partners with us. Don't talk about us, but just work with us. And I think that we can come up with the right solutions.
I love it. I love it. If you hold on with me for just 1 minute, we'll come back and close out the show.
All right.
My guest next week is going to be Dr. Jerry Oates. Dr. Oates, first of all, is one of my fraternity brothers, but he is newly selected to be a deputy state superintendent in the state of North Carolina. So he holds one of the top positions in the whole state of North Carolina in education. Dr. Oates served for many years as a school superintendent, has now been promoted to that role. So that'll be next week, March 30th, almost at the end of the month, 2023, 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. Mr. Broadnax, thank you so much, my friend, for coming on the show. And I think we met back in Texas, I think.
Yes. Yes.
And I wanted to get you up here and thank you for agreeing to be a part of the show.
I appreciate you.
We'll get you back up at a later date.
I appreciate it. I enjoyed it. Excited. Glad it got a chance. I had a chance to meet you.
And to the Wright Experience audience, I want to thank you and good evening.